Babe! Welcome back to my channel! On today's episode, we are doing another question and answer with a character. I did this a while ago with Serena from Pokemon X and Y, and you guys were really into that, so I thought, why not do it again? I asked you guys on Instagram which character you'd like to see next, and you guys chose Bloom from Winx Club, which is great because that's one of my favorite cosplays, so all good. So a few weeks ago, I asked you guys on my Instagram story to send some questions for Bloom, and she is here today ready to answer some of your questions. Now, she won't be able to get to every question that was asked, but she'll try to get through as many as she can. So in just a few moments, I am going to transform into Bloom. A few reminders that you can follow me on Instagram, and you can subscribe here and like the video, and have a link below to like a bunch of different stuff, so definitely check that out. Another thing that I wanted to mention is this is my first YouTube video with my new lighting, so you can go back and kind of look at my other YouTube videos just to like notice the difference or whatever. This time I have a softbox along with the other things that I was normally using, like my ring light and my webcam and my microphone setup. So the softbox is totally new and I'm really excited about it, and I've been using it a lot on TikTok, which, by the way, I got a TikTok because quarantine. So if you have a TikTok, totally leave it below. I'll try to find you and follow you. And my TikTok name is the same as my cosplay name because I'm so original. And the link to all of the setup that I use is linked below. Thank you again for everyone that sent in questions for Bloom. I'm excited for her to answer them for you today, and hopefully you guys enjoy. So without further ado, here comes Bloom. Hi everyone, I'm Bloom. Thanks a lot for joining us today. And thanks a lot for sending in your questions. I'm going to try to get to as many of your questions today as I can, but I have to get back to school, so I'm just going to do as many as I can today. And if I don't get to your question, you can leave it in a comment below, and I'll try to answer it later when I'm out of class. So I wanted to just start off by introducing myself and telling you a few things about me. So my name is Bloom, and I go to Alfia School for Fairies, which is in the Magix universe. I was adopted by two lovely parents on Earth when I was just a baby, and I recently found my birth parents, and it turns out I'm actually a princess. I found out I was a fairy when I was 16. I was in the local park of Gardenia, which is the town on Earth that I was raised, and I found my friend Stella, who I didn't know at the time was going to be one of my best friends, but she was actually fighting off these magical creatures, and I thought I was seeing things, and it turned out that I had magic powers, which I never thought was possible since I'm from Earth. So then I traveled with her back to the Magix universe and enrolled in Alfia College. A few weeks after enrolling in Alfia College, I got my Winx, as they say, and I was able to transform, and I grew fairy wings, and it was really quite a magical moment, and since then my life has really never been the same. So let's get to those questions. So one of the most popular questions that you asked was, what is it like being a fairy? Well, I can obviously say it's quite magical, and it's interesting because I now have wings and I can fly, and since I didn't grow up as a fairy and I was raised on Earth like a normal girl, it's been quite an experience just learning how to use my powers and how to fly, and I've only been learning how to be a fairy for just a little bit of time, so it's been really interesting and fun, and I'm just so happy to have my best friends by me throughout all of this. And this kind of leads into the next question, which is, what's the best part of being a fairy? And it's definitely being able to change your hair without actually having to do anything. You pretty much just like snap your fingers and you can change your hair color and your hairstyle. And also, when we transform and we get our wings, it doesn't get in the way of our hair. Like, that's the best possible situation. So the next question is, what is it like to go to Alfia? So again, like I mentioned, Alfia College is a college just for fairies. Since Alfia is still a school, we still have regular classes, but we also have a lot of classes about magic, which is probably the biggest difference between Alfia and a regular school. The next question is, what is my favorite outfit? And it's definitely going to be any outfit that I'm transformed in, because that's when I feel the most powerful. The next question is, can I be a fairy? If so, how? Well, you have to be born with magic to be able to be a fairy, so it's a little tough. Like I said, since I grew up on Earth with a regular family, regular school, I didn't even know that fairies even existed. And have you met my friend Roxy? She's actually the last fairy on Earth. And after spending some time with Roxy, it turned out that we were able to bring magic back to Earth. So it's possible, of course, though, even if you're not a fairy, you can still have magic. All you have to do is believe in your heart, and you can bring a little light and a little magic to everyone around you just by being kind. I got a few questions about the tricks. So if you don't know, the tricks are a trio of witches that I tend to cross paths with a lot, and they've really caused a lot of trouble over the years. My friends and I have tried to defeat them many, many times, but it just seems like they just keep coming back. They keep making friends with these other evil wizards, and they're able to come back, and we have to keep fighting them. And honestly, it's really exhausting. Believe me, I wish they could just poof away. Honestly, the worst thing about the tricks is that they're just mean. They even turned one of my friends into a pumpkin. I mean, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with them? They just need to go. I agree. Another question is, what is it like to be a princess? Since I didn't even know I was a princess for the first 16 years of my life, it's definitely been quite different. But luckily I have my sister Daphne to help me. Have I mentioned Daphne, my older sister? She's actually the nymph of Cyrenix. I didn't even know I had a sister, again, for like the first 16 years of my life. So definitely a lot of changes happened when I turned 16. For most normal Earth girls, it's about getting a car and thinking about going to college. But for me, I found out I was adopted, I was a princess, I was a fairy, I had to fight these witches. Being a fairy can be kind of difficult sometimes and very busy. Next question is actually about my friends. The question asks, if you could name one good trait about your friends, what would it be? Let's start with Aisha. Aisha is absolutely one of the bravest girls I've ever met in my life. She's also so athletic. I mean, I'm kind of really clumsy, so I don't really have much room to talk, but Aisha is incredible. Next up, let me mention Musa. She's such a musical talent, and I'm so happy that she's able to pursue her career, and she's able to use music to make her magic. It's just incredible. She also has a lot of ambition, and she's very focused. Let me mention Tecna next. Tecna is absolutely the brains of the group. She always comes up with the coolest gadgets. If we didn't have Tecna, there are so many different situations that we would never have been able to get out of. Let's talk about Flora. Flora is so kind. She is so kind. She's always very calm and collected, and she's great with flowers and plants. It's incredible some of the things she can do. My Earth Mom was a florist, and there was no way I could ever take care of plants. Finally, let's talk about Stella. Stella's definitely the one that keeps us going when times get rough. She's always so positive, and it really helps us get through really tough situations. Also, the absolute best person to go shopping with. She knows all the best places to shop. Thanks a lot for sending in your questions, everybody. Again, if I didn't get to your question, I'm really sorry. I'm really starting to run late for class. Leave your question below, and I'll try to get to it in between classes. I hope you have a magical day. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today and for sending your questions into Bloom. I hope that she was able to get to your question. If not, I'm sure we'll be doing some more of these question and answers in the future. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.